Nicaea, if you ever wonder where it was, is in the northwest corner of Turkey. It's right off the coast of Marmara there, that little sea that separates Asia from Europe, and so it was a central location. Constantine, paid the airfare for all of these people to make it to Nicaea, put them up in the kind of swanky hotels around town, and so he really did spare no expense, hoping that as a result of this time together that they could reach some kind of consensus. There's a very interesting scene that takes place in church history in the opening session of the Council of Nicaea. Constantine, now the Roman emperor, the most powerful man in the world, walks into this opening session, and there's 318 bishops from all over the major cities of the Christian world at that time. All of the major churches were represented there through these bishops. There was also present in the same room a group of people who were survivors of the persecution that had occurred under Diocletian. That was only, by the way, about 20 years earlier. We talked about Diocletian's persecution last week. These people, of course, many people were killed in that persecution. These were survivors, but people who bore the marks in their bodies of the tortures that had been inflicted during that time. There were people who had had eyes gouged out, people with dismemberments of various descriptions, horrific persecutions, and these people had stood firm in the face of that kind of pressure, and now, of course, at this juncture in church history, were highly respected and were treated more or less as kind of the elite, you might say, in the Christian world, the special people who had gone through and not collapsed under the pressure of persecution. Constantine walks into this meeting, and after an initial greeting, he walks over to this little group of people who were sitting there in a kind of special place by themselves, and he literally bowed the knee before them. And then he went over and touched each one of them. He kissed the empty sockets where eyes had been gouged out. He touched and kissed each one of them, showing the deepest affection and appreciation and recognition of what they had been through. Now that in itself, I think, is significant, but the significance is much more than that. Because here is Constantine. Do you realize this is the man who embodies in himself now the Caesars of Rome? The most powerful man in the world stands there symbolizing Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar, Caligula, Nero, Claudius, Marcus Aurelius, Antoninus Pius, and a host of others. All of these who had been the enemies of Christ are now somehow embodied in this man who bows the knee to Christian saints and through them to Christ himself. Who'd have thunk it? And yet here we are at a moment in history when the kings of the earth are bowing the knee and recognizing the universal rule of the Lord Jesus Christ. It's really quite a remarkable moment.